more people reach retirement age, the chance of identity crisis is increasing for the aging population. Certain populations, because of their subcultures, may be at a greater risk than others for developing issues like identity crises during these milestones. My focus, police officers, often retire at a younger age because of either mandatory retirement or physical injury. Many officers identify who they are by their profession, and with the loss of their badge, they are left with the question, who am I now? Definitions of subculture, identity, and identity crisis are needed. The subculture reference was termed by Mark Malman as the warrior subculture and includes first responders, military, and professional athletes. It is described by values of loyalty, solidarity, bravery, machismo, and feelings of authority from a uniform. A research review showed that identity is a set of traits a person maintains in life shaped by shared values and social norms, giving a person a role. Identity crisis occurs when an event triggers disconnection from that role. Identity crisis in police with mindfulness based interventions, or MBIs, have never been researched. This may seem similar to adjustment disorder. However, in some cases, the severity, length of symptoms like depression and anxiety, and resistance to treatment supports the argument that identity crisis should be considered a separate diagnosis. I contend these are symptoms of a larger issue not yet recognized independently in the DSM. I theorize that MBIs are effective treatments for identity crisis in retired populations, especially police. Three variables within the same three populations: law enforcement, people with careers with a similar subculture to police, and older adults in the general population. The first variable reviewed was identity crisis. Sirosiak and others discovered higher rates of suicide and physical and mental health issues related to police because of deep ties to identity. Sargent and others supported this, showing a strong connection to work identity increases risk of identity crisis. This is especially prevalent in warrior subculture. Researched retired professional hockey players and athletic identity gripping. They found these athletes had an increased chance of identity crisis and long term depression. A study of the general population found that those participants suffering identity crisis shared a feeling of rolelessness. Additionally, Teuscher's work shows those in the general population usually recover from role interruption more easily. Other research suggests this is because of strong social relationships and friendships outside the workplace. Issues that arise with an identity crisis are very predominant in police due to unwillingness to get psychological or peer support and a loss of social relationships. This causes anxiety, depression, loneliness, grief, and suicidal ideation. To help this, Carney and others found a need for programs in pre and post retirement. Research shows warrior subcultures like veterans and professional athletes suffer similarly. In the general population, Tui and others found only those in early retirement had significantly higher rates of anxiety and depression. Research in MBIs for police and similar subcultures. MBIs in active duty officers showed improvements in stress and welfare. In retired trauma exposed officers, researchers found improved well being with talking about work and avoiding coping by distancing. Noruzi and others showed MBSR reduced depression, anxiety, and stress with football players. General population retirees have been researched by many, showing MBIs decrease anxiety and increase well being. Lee and others showed MBCT regulated brain connectivity related to improvements with late life depression, mental health issues in police and warrior subcultures during retirement. The general population also suffers during this role transition, especially when retiring at a younger age. However, the general population recovers more easily because of strong social relationships and friendships outside the workplace, something lacking in professions with warrior subcultures like police. Research into anxiety and depression shows they are often found in police, similar subcultures, and the general population. This suggests more individuals may be suffering from identity crisis than first thought. MBIs for individuals suffering from identity crisis can be deduced from how effective it is with anxiety and stress in retirees from the warrior subculture, including police and the general population. Given this association between symptoms of anxiety and depression and the issue of retirees facing identity crisis, it is plausible that MBIs are an effective treatment for identity crisis as well. Research has shown MBIs reduce anxiety, depression, and stress in older adults, police, and similar subcultures. Had limitations. concerning the generalizability of the findings because of the small sample sizes, geographical isolation, and limited participant groups where nearly all white males were used. What forms a person's identity and how subcultures play a role in development needs to be better understood. Research is needed in an identity crisis as a separate psychological phenomenon experienced when the correct factors occur and methods to protect against it. Also, whether it may be more likely to occur in specific subgroups of retirees needs to be investigated.